were able to, we donated 100% of our profits from that, about $400,000, to various activist organizations. And so it's not all about, cars and girls and making a lot of money at this, that music can be a vehicle. I believe that music can be a vehicle for social awareness and even for progressive change. And so as the summer and albums after albums go on, we're going to try to keep pushing the envelope as far as we can. Where I come from, there's never been a progressive or radical change for the better that has not involved ordinary people like you and me standing up against oppressive authority for their rights. And on the second hand, that it has to begin with yourself. And that's, for example, during the Black Power struggles, it was the first line of attack was that blacks had to confront the attitudes that they had within themselves that contributed to their own subordination. And the same with the women's movement. Women have to combat the attitudes within themselves that contribute to their own subordination. The same is true with workers and students as well.
Musicians taking a stand is something we will always advocate for.
The only F that I think is the only bad word that starts with an F is FCC, if you ask me, and that's the reason why you can't speak in language in a righteously powerful language on television is because of that organization. So, when they change, I think that people need to take that bull by the horns, and if they disagree that you can't have powerful language on television, they need to make themselves heard more clearly.
Because we have seen how dudes like this roll.
Rage Against the Machine is a band that has never advocated violence. We've always advocated a direct opposition to unjust wars like the one started by John McCain and the Republicans and all of them. That's why we're here today, standing peaceful opposition.
And dudes like this. British punk band Idols is contributing to the cause, not just in their art, but away from the stage as well. In many of their songs, they channel the rage so many feel with an anti-fascist angle time and time again. Their lead singer...
Social media is literally a network set up by people that want you to see certain things and not see others. My reality is the one that I've indoctrinated by what I look at and what I don't look at. And now, whatever I want, I get, but what I need, I'll never have.
Yeah.
In terms of information, unless I really seek it out. But if you shine and you show people compassion and you listen and you have an open heart, then maybe that connection will be made. I was very disheartened by post-Brexit Britain, But then you realise, well, everyone's been lied to, been massively lied to. So, even that, if they knew that they were lies, and there's reasons for it. There's people there with lives and stories, and you just got to be more patient, I think. Well, I had to be, to kind of understand it. And but now I'm worried, I'm worried, but I'm also I don't carry that sense of resentment towards decisions that, are detrimental to free trade. Let's put it that way.
Is this man, the wiseful Joe Talbot. To understand their art, you must understand their messages. For their track, Divide and Conquer, frontman Talbot, while performing at Primavera Sound, told the crowd, this is an anti-fascist song. He dedicated it to the people of Palestine.
Openness is to allow a space where your integrity could collapse. But when you do that, it's a bargaining chip and you're allowing people in. Letting love in is an openness. Yeah. The freedom of speech is the act of listening. And that's what I want. I want people to feel that they are safe to be themselves in Idol's arena.
They also break so many stereotypes as it pertains to men and masculinity. He's compelled to write songs that skewer BS machismo behavior, because without embracing his emotion, he might not be here right now. What it is to be a man needs to be crushed. A new way of being needs to come out of it. says Talbot. There's probably a horrendous amount of men who have killed themselves because of the phrase man up or because of the phrase don't cry. Via Billboard, Bowen and Talbot contend that young men need to let go for themselves and for others. You know, there's a reason why 95% of violent crime is committed by men in Britain, says Talbot. There's a reason why the biggest killer of men under 45 in the country is suicide. Because it's not natural to not hug or to show compassion or to cry. It's unnatural. It's inhumane. I mean, we are effing animals. And hugging and kissing and crying, they're all natural things that we want to do and that we feel great from.
You're in a country that has a withering but still a national health service, and don't get it twisted, it's a beautiful thing and it works for everyone in our country. It's just the privatizing and the libertarians and the neoliberals of our right-wing government are selling it off piece by piece with private investment and stealing it from the people. National health service works beautifully. What doesn't work is the greed of the fascists who are in charge of our country at the moment.
Their politics also become reflective in what they compose. The Times wrote of Idols' album Ultramono, released in 2020, it mixes the stridency of Fugazi with blasts of the language of self-help as Talbot sings about fake patriotism disguised as nationalism, class inequality, and sexism. Quote, "It was important to be as concise and distilled as possible," he said of the lyrics to songs like Anxiety. "If you avoid nuance, you won't be misunderstood. Listen to what I'm singing. Our government hates the poor, cold leaders, cold class war. I can't make it any clearer than that."
Like, we are children of neoliberalism, which is like a sleeper, insidious cancer that's infested the left and turning it into an apathetic, discombobulated, disenfranchised left with no real direction in a lot of senses. Now there are lots of amazing activists and beautiful minds and speakers that are leading us forward, but in the general sense of the populace, there's a real discombobulated left. And I'm not an activist, I'm an artist. The two aren't separate, I know that, but I just wouldn't consider myself, you know, I know musicians who are activists, and I very much admire them. But what I wanted to do, as I said before, is create a place in which I felt safe and not alone in order to move forward.
Another banger, by the way, Danny Nedelko. Taking the stage at Glastonbury in 2019, with Brexit looming, Talbot stated, and I quote, "This song is about one of the most beautiful parts of this country, the foreigners." The song provoked the show's biggest sing-along. Fear leads to panic, panic leads to pain, pain leads to anger, anger leads to hate. Overwhelmed, Talbot began to cry. His wife would run onto the stage with their infant daughter, and they all hugged. "This is a proudly socialist band," wrote John Norris of Billboard. Guitarist Mark Bowen stated, "Socialism, to me, is about compassion." Talbot also shared this, which I personally view as rather vital in understanding the full scope of him and the band. A great write-up on this came from Greg Cochran of Loud and Quiet, who wrote, "June, slower in pace and more harrowing in tone, features the repeated line, 'For sale, baby shoes, never worn.' It's borrowed from a phrase often credited to Ernest Hemingway. Legend has it he was challenged in a bet to see if he could make a man cry in 6 words. The effect in the song is crushingly sad. Joe explains that he wrote the lyrics while he was in the shower 2 days after his daughter passed. I was embarrassed because I felt that it was so naive and so indulgent. But that's the whole point with the pressures of being a man. You feel like you're being indulgent, when actually you're just expressing your feelings. I spoke to Bowen about it. He was like, it's important we put it on. That's the whole point of this record. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.